Hey, this is Carlton with Vote for Carlton. Vote, carltonwalker.com. All right, so I'm in my house. I'm standing here, uh, contractor, normal guy. This is a sacrifice right here, man. My father, who left me when I was 5 years old, flew the scout helicopter into Cobra. And here's the thing: I just came up with how we solve this problem where the Sixth and Seventh Amendment of our constitutions are not being upheld in family court and probate court. Um, as far as family court goes, if there is a criminal action that a judge is trying to prosecute a mother or father for criminal, um, they call it, we're asking for criminal contempt. And based on DeMarco versus DeMarco, in the 2011 case, then the judge should ask the defendant, which would be the person being prosecuted, would you like a jury to decide this, or would you like me? If they say I'd like a jury, then that case needs to be transferred over to the criminal department, as far as the Charleston County criminal court, and that way they can ask for a jury to hear their case, whether or not. Also, same thing with the situation with child support, and same thing with the situation with fees. A lot of times a judge will hear a case and then they determine the case, and then at the very end, I mean, I would go as far as you should be able to ask for a jury trial for your children's future. But as far as in family court, they go through this process and then they come to the very end, and then they have a separate kind of hearing for fees. I believe to stop nepotism and favoritism from judges giving their friend lawyers, their buddy lawyers, rulings to where they get all the money. I think at that moment, when they determine fees, you as a citizen should have the right to say, hey, I would like a jury to decide the fees. Then that case gets transferred over to the Charleston County Civil Court to process for fees. And then that way you can ask for a jury trial for a civil action, and then they have to prove, okay, here's why this person should have to pay the fees. They caused this action. Well, in some cases, it's the other way around. Because the judge is siding with the lawyer who he's buddies with, that person, that client, is the one that caused all the problems and all the fees to occur, running up over 200, over 500,000, over $750,000 in fees. And because there is favoritism and nepotism in judges' decisions where they give the decisions to their buddy lawyers and not based on the facts, a jury is the only way to break that bond between judges and lawyers that are doing this kind of favoritism and nepotism in decisions. And it's happening. If you don't believe it, I'll sell you the Ravenel Bridge for $5 and you can go spray paint it right now. Right? So the way to do this is, if in a family court decision, if you say I want a jury to decide my fees, the judge has to stop right then, transfer it over to the Charleston County Civil Court for a determination of fees, because the Seventh Amendment is very clear. In common law, if the value is over $25, and by the way, common law, read it. It's family court. It is decisions made by a judge, because a judge sets, they'll make an order which is literally making a law right there from the bench, and if you break that, then they can fine you and all this stuff, and they can put you in jail. So that is common law. Read the definition. I've educated myself on this, and I am fighting for the citizens of District 15, and I am fighting for judicial reform for the citizens of South Carolina. The Sixth Amendment is violated, has been violated once that we know of, but I would promise you it's probably thousands of times. The case DeMarco versus DeMarco from 2011 was a father that had the money to fight 40 grand. Most people like myself or other people, we don't have that kind of money. Unless our family, mortgage takes a mortgage on their property and their farm and exhausts their retirement. And this kind of stuff is happening in our family courts to this day. And there are hundreds of fathers and mothers that this has happened to. We have to stop this, injustice. That right there, the Purple Heart, the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, National Defense, that if our veterans give their lives to defend the Constitution, the least our courts can do is uphold the Constitution. I don't know of anybody that disagrees with that. We have to enact jury trials for criminal prosecution in family courts and civil actions. If it's going to be over $25 and you're going to make a mother or a father pay something over $25, they have the right to say, I want a jury to decide if I have to pay my ex's lawyer $250,000, or I want a jury to determine if I have to pay the guardian's lawyer $300,000. That is insane. When the whole scenario, what they're doing in family court and in probate court, and I've had multiple people tell me these scenarios, they create a storm around the child, and they keep the two parties in constant conflict. And guess what? All the lawyers get rich, and they exhaust the families, and the child ends up with mental problems. And that is going on in the state of South Carolina. And in probate court, they do the same thing, except around the elderly person, and they alienate the entire family. They get court orders that none of the family can be around the elderly person. The guardian gets paid $450 an hour, turns in $20,000 bills a week, exhausts the old person's retirement and their estate, and the person dies alone in a nursing home. Those are stories that I've been told from constituents and citizens of South Carolina. I'm going to tell you right now, that right there is the reason. When I met my father for the first time at age 25, he left me when I was 5 years old. When I met him for the first time when I was 25, I said, what is your number one issue that you have? He said that one day the Constitution would not be upheld. As a child who lost his father due to PTSD from age 5 to 25, and he's still not in my life. He's around, but he's severely with mental issues. I'll be damned if we've done that kind of sacrifice for this kind of BS to be going on in the courts of South Carolina. This man right here, I believe God only burdens those who can carry a burden to make other people's lives better in the future. I'm the man to do it. You want justice reform, you vote for this guy right here. Vote CarltonWalker.com, and I'm going to leave you with this. Just a regular man. See ya.